All right. Well, good morning. Wanted to do a quick one today. I'm actually going to be running to Caravan here shortly to go and try to sell some properties. I'm actually, while I'm talking to you guys, I'm going to be cleaning up some information Noreen sent me so I can take it with me. But yeah, so I listened to something really, really cool today. I went ahead and posted it up for you all on the page, and I would highly recommend you definitely take a listen to it. The podcast I listened to, actually, I don't have it up here. That's all right. Podcast I listened to was a lady. She's like from Podunk nowhere, and she did like 100 and something deals by herself. She's a single agent, and there's in a community that's pretty small. It's about the size of Fallbrook, and I thought it was a unique podcast because, a lot of the podcasts I listen to from other agents, they always come up with, the new fancy widget. They always have, this new thing that's going on, or some new system that's giving them a ton of deals. And this lady is just like really, really old school. She is, she basically does everything manually still. There's a lot of things that me personally I wouldn't do, but I thought it was a very interesting and intriguing podcast that's definitely worth listening to. The thing that caught my ear is something that we used to do a while back, and we kind of got away from it just because we were too busy. We just, and I've mentioned it briefly and to some people as far as ideas that we, of past things that were successful for us. And I figured I'd mention it one more time today just because I heard it on the podcast and I'm like, man, why did we get away from that? And I got to be honest with you, that's exactly what went through my mind was, why did we get away from it? It worked out so well. And to this day, I'm still kind of like, maybe we should get back to it. And honestly, we might, depending, excuse me, on what other people do. If other people on the team are like, hey, we want to kind of go after this thing, then great, then maybe we'll leave it alone. If not, then we might turn it on ourselves just because it's pretty darn genius. Um, so what she talked about, first off, on that podcast, she gets over 70% of her business from prospecting. She prospects every day for about 2 to 3 hours per day. But she only prospects two specific niches. She only prospects two specific niches. One is expired listings, and the other one is for sale by owners. If you've heard my input, I'm not a huge fan of for sale by owners. I think there's a lot of value to get from for sale by owners. The reason why I'm not a huge fan of for sale by owners is because of the mindset of a for sale by owner. What compels somebody to say, I'm going to, even though I don't know anything about real estate, I'm going to sell my own house because I think I can do it better than a professional. So that has always concerned me when dealing with for sale by owners, which is why I've avoided them. The appointments that I've gone on for sale by owners, because we used to prospect them, every one of them was just it was rough. It was a rough appointment. Not saying that they can't be converted. In fact, there's plenty of people that convert a ton of for sale by owners. I'm just saying that it's not something that I'm a huge fan of personally. So I've just avoided it through the years. Um, but one of the things that was just magic that she had mentioned was she created this white letter. Now, Chet knows what I'm talking about when it comes to white letters and yellow letters, but she created this white letter. And the reason why I think it's kind of genius is because I think that what she's doing can play into so many other facets of your business. So I'll tell you what she's doing first, and then I'll kind of give you some spins on that idea. So what she's doing, she is manually going out and finding the expired listings in her market. So let's say you as an agent, if you wanted to, you can look at who's getting ready to expire and you can find out who is expiring. Now, if they are not expired yet, you can't reach out to those people legally. So just, if you're thinking you're going to try to get ahead or go upstream, just don't. You get in trouble. But once they expire, the very first thing that she does, she actually has packages created. And it's a real simple one. It's in a white envelope, plain white envelope. It has her name on it. It has her return address on it. I would recommend, depending on the market that you're in, if you're going to be up north, you use your address at home. If you're in the market down south, you use the business address. Or you could use your personal address if you live in the south. Um, in King's Landing. So it's a joke for those Game of Thrones people. So what she does, she pre-labels them, and then she puts in a letter. Inside that letter, it's a very simple thing. It says, hey, noticed your home expired. Wanted to reach out to you to see if you're going to be interviewing, real estate agents to get it sold. Here's some other people that we've helped. So it's a really simple letter. I think, what I would recommend if you do decide to go that route is that you personalize it a little bit, and you're asking for an interview to sell their home. You could also add in the renovate to sell program flyer in the back of that, and then throw in a couple business cards, and that's pretty much what she does. And then she mails them off. She handwrites their address on the front. Well, she doesn't physically do it. She has her administrator do it for her. But she just basically has 50 to 100 letters sitting there. And every day she goes on there. It takes her about 15 minutes to look at what new properties have expired. She handwrites letters. She drops them in the mail. And those go out every day. Then she starts her cold calls to expired listings. Now, the way she finds them is, again, a lot of damn work. It's not something I would recommend doing, but, it works for her because she does everything manually. And she's, as a single agent with no, she has no team. She's doing well over 100 deals a year. And again, 70% of it is expires and for sale by owners. So now that I just told you what she's doing with her letter, I wanted to double back and talk about some other ideas. Let's say, especially for those of you that have just gotten listings, those of you that have just sold a home with a buyer, this is something that we used to do pretty religiously. And again, we just got so busy that we couldn't take on one of the big reasons why we built the team. We couldn't keep doing it. And actually, we probably might turn it back on if you guys don't do it, just so we can give you more deals, because it kind of makes good sense. So there's yellow letters, white letters, and direct mail. Oh my. So let's talk about that. So yesterday we talked briefly about building your database. You can also build a direct mail database, which is going to be a little bit different. So I know Gabby just got a new listing. So we'll use Gabby as an example. I'm not sure if Gabby's on today. Let's see. No, yeah, she is. Okay, great. So good. Gabby, you can listen in on this. So Gabby just got a new listing. Right now is the opportunity to actually write a really cool letter. And I would do a white letter first. And I would say, and I have templates for this, by the way, everybody, just so you know. Guess what we just did for your neighbor? We just listed their home to get it sold. I give them basic specs, and I say, looking to potentially be on the market on X day for around X price. If you know somebody that's looking to move to your neighborhood, you could help pick your neighbor. Give me a ring at, and you put your number in it. I would put a simple photo from the front of the house, and then down at the bottom, those banners that I had made for you from Jim Sign Shop, you drop your banner so it has your face, it has your contact info and everything else, and it looks really professional. And you send that out, and that's your 10, 10, 20. So 10 to the left, 10 to the right, and 20 across the street. Now, could you expand that? Absolutely. You can expand that if you want to do 100 homes. Now, just keep in mind, the more letters you send out, the more expensive it's going to get. Now, from the inception of that listing to the death of that listing, that's your opportunity to always tell those neighbors all of the successes. Hey, by the way, guess what we just did for your neighbor? We just put him into escrow. Guess what we just did for your neighbor? We just sold their house. There's a lot of really cool things that can be going on, so you can be touching their neighbors multiple times for a pretty inexpensive price. Now, yellow letter is a little bit different. So that's a white letter. That's a professional letter. That's what a white letter is. It's a professional letter. It's typewritten, signed by you, adding value of some sort, and you're mailing it out. A yellow letter is something that's handwritten. You get, everybody's seen the yellow, binders that you write on. I don't even know what they call them, not binders, but paper things. And what you do, you actually handwrite on there something that's going to be similar. Hey, just wanted to let you know, we just listed your neighbor's home. If you're potentially thinking about selling, I would absolutely love the opportunity to interview for the job. So, you could say that, hey, looking for another listing in your neighborhood. Or if you look at Don's situation, this is a great chance for a yellow letter or a white letter if you don't want to go knock doors. I have a buyer. And I had told Kathy, good thing you're on here, Kathy. I told Kathy we're going to talk to her about her client that wants to buy in Red Hawk. This is your opportunity to build a database in Red Hawk. You're going to map that whole area, get all of the addresses, and you're going to start a campaign and say, I have a buyer at this price that's looking for a house in your neighborhood. They are looking for XXX of a house. I need to find them a house immediately. If you're thinking about selling, please reach out to me. If you have a real estate agent, please have them reach out to me. If your property is coming on the market soon, and you know, I would love to know before it happens, so potentially we could bring our buyer in to buy it. So that's how you kind of start when you have a value add, especially as a buyer that's ready to buy. They got cash, you're ready to go, like Kathy does. It's a fantastic in to go ahead and farm that neighborhood to basically shake the trees to see who else might be thinking about selling. Oh my gosh, these people are out here trying to there's buyers that are, you know, shit, maybe I should sell. Let me call Kathy. Then you follow up with a white letter, a professional letter, and you start educating people. By the way, I reached out to you. I still got this buyer, still looking, but I also want to inform you, we have a renovate to sell program. We'll actually renovate your home, and at close of escrow, you pay the contractor to actually have the renovations. And you know, in a lot of instances, we've brought people anywhere from $60,000 to $150,000 extra on top of what they would have sold it for if they sold it in its as-is condition. So that's where you go out with your white letter. Now, if you want to follow up with continuous farming of that neighborhood. Now, let's say you got a 10-10-20. So right now it's great for somebody like Gabby. She just did her first listing with Kim Steele and Associates. Well, now you have 40 people. Every listing that you get, you add 40 more people to that database, and now that becomes your monthly mailer. Or it becomes your monthly, you know, she does a monthly, what do you call that damn thing? A monthly flyer. Not a flyer. You know what it is, Gabby. A newsletter. Thank you. It's an opportunity to pass out something like that where, you know, it's an added value every month, or a small little postcard just reminding people who you are. It's inexpensive that way if you build your database over time in that regard. So now 40 people for every new listing, 40 people for every new home you sell, because if you have a buyer and you help them, you're selling the house. Those are the technical terms. We sold this house. We brought the buyer. You can do a 10-10-20 in that neighborhood for the very same thing. Say, hey, just want to let you know, we just closed and sold this house. We brought the buyer for your neighbor, and we are excited about it. If you're looking to get a buyer to buy your house as well, give me a call. We got plenty. Would love an opportunity to interview for the job to sell your house to one of our buyers. So are you guys kind of seeing the magic in this? Anybody? Love to get input. Yes, I love it. Okay, there's Gabby. Jen, yep.
Yeah, sounds great.
Good. Any questions so far on what I've said? Something you want to talk to me more in depth? Okay, Jen. Yeah, absolutely. Hit me up. I don't know why my chat window's not working. There it is. Absolutely. I know you're going to be in the area today, so we'll sit down and we'll talk more about that, Jen. Absolutely. But look, the 10-10-20 program works. That's why I've been trying to tell you all, whether it's an open house, whether it's just listed, just sold, whether it's you just helped a buyer buy a house, those are your opportunities to go out and let those neighbors know what you're doing, and let them, because as we know, people are selling. Another great example of it, and I remember I was really, I'm going to tell you the truth. I was extremely negative on Shady Grove. I was extremely negative on Shady Grove. And I think it was somebody that, it was Edie. Edie wanted to farm Shady Grove. And I says, look, you know, if you want to farm Shady Grove, you have to understand the challenges with Shady Grove. And I think if you go and hit, you know, a higher turnover market and create a farm in a different place that you know better, you probably would do better. You know, what's turned out is Shady Grove is becoming one of our richest little sources, because almost, you know, what we got 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Looking at a fifth one coming up over there in Shady Grove. So you know, that's one of those things where it works. It works. It lost all audio. Can you not hear me, Jen?
You're fine here.
Okay. And let me go back. Yes, I have the templates, whoever asked for them. So, you know, this is an opportunity with little energy. Yes, it's going to be a little bit of check equity. A little bit of check equity. There's, that's sweat equity, check equity. You get your choice. And I would still highly recommend that you definitely put in sweat equity on these. As you do the 10, 10, 20, as you're doing the open houses, go knock on the doors after you drop it. And this is what she said. She does do a follow-up. But the podcast I was listening to today, it was just kind of magic because it reaffirmed something that we used to do that we sort of stopped doing. And I kind of want to pass that along to you guys to let you know it is something that we used to do, and it worked out extremely well. So it could be beneficial for those of you that you want to do 10, 10, 20 programs and start building a mail database, and also this is your opportunity to potentially build a farm. That's where you farm. You go and actually knock on those doors. Get some signs up. Once you get the sign up, guess what? It starts expanding again. So that's what I have for this morning. If there's any questions, I will take them now. Any questions? All right. No questions? Oh, okay, here it is. How much for mailing? Well, I think stamps are going for whatever stamps cost. That's how much it costs plus an envelope, Victoria. Right. Now, if you're doing direct mail, it's a little bit different. Direct mail ranges anywhere from 36 cents to like 56 cents. It could actually cost more than that. It could be a couple dollars. It just depends on what you're trying to achieve and accomplish. So that's why I said this is a small little 10, 10, 20 program. If you're doing it around a house that you just sold, a house that you just listed, and you want to start farming the neighbors, it's 49 cents. You show them your victories as you have them, in hopes that you can get another listing or two. Does that answer your question, Victoria? Rainbow is mailing community. Oh, mailing is mailing community. Yeah. Yes. That's one way of farming rural areas. So Fallbrook, Rainbow, Duluth, certain areas of Winchester, certain areas of Temecula, they're rural. So absolutely. I'm going to be honest with you. Now that this kind of caught my ear again, in my neighborhood where I just moved to, in Temecula Wine Country or Valley or whatever the hell it's called, I'm actually going to do the same thing. I'm going to do an introduction letter, and I'm going to write a letter to all of our neighbors and say, hey, just wanted to say we moved into your neighborhood. We're excited about living here. Want to find out if any of you are involved in anything in the local community. By the way, we also sell real estate. And we included some business cards. We'll throw some business cards in there. We sell real estate. We are the number 10 real estate team in the Temecula Valley. And we just recently moved here. We would love to become number 1, blah, blah, blah. So have you heard of send out cards? Time saver? I have not done. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, that's something. Basically, they do cards where you do a handwriting sample, and it looks like it's a written address and/or card. It'd be a little bit more pricey, but would save time on the writing and everything else.
Yeah. I mean, so I'll tell you what I used to do, and it's just math to me. Chet and I, we went out on Friends of Fallbrook, and I think we went out to some of the other sites where you have the moms that are they're staying at home because their husbands are working, and there's a lot of military mothers that do stay home. We actually went out on some of the Facebook group pages, and we started hiring women off of the Facebook group pages to actually handwrite letters and handwrite envelopes for us for I think it was we were paying them like 5 or 10 cents a letter. So we actually found that it was cheaper, and actually instead of trying to mimic something that's handwritten, it was actually handwritten. And then we used to make them write out stuff for us before we actually gave them a box. And we would prep a box for them, say, here's your envelopes, here's the addresses, here's the template, and that's it. So, yeah, I mean, you could do that for sure. But what I've experienced is usually those things, they look like they were printed, handwritten. But yeah, they are, and they're more expensive. They are more expensive. I guess what I'm getting at is, yes, if you have money, you can go down these paths. But if you don't, and you're trying to save a buck and potentially get some more deals, this is a cheap way of actually expanding your database and touching more people. Cool. Anybody else have anything else? Any questions?
None?
Hey, Chris, it's me, Gabby. Good morning.
Good morning, Gabby. How are you?
You were just good. First of all, yes, those letters works. I was using those before and works. So do it. If you guys want to do it, do it. And second, you just mentioned about doing a letter for introductory to the area that you're living. I just wonder if we can have, or at least I can have, because I'm farming this area, and I wanted the people know KSA a little bit better.
Right.
So for me, that would be, somebody else is farming the same area. So my idea is going on top of him, and that would be in a KSA introductory letter.
Okay.
So there is any way that we can get something like that so I can send it in this area?
Absolutely. I'm actually going to start working on, I got to find all my old templates. I save everything, so I know I have them. I just got to find them. I'm going to find my original templates. After I find those, I'll pass those along. Then after I find my templates, those templates, then I'm probably going to create a introductory type template that I'll give to everybody, because here's the thing, all of us live somewhere, and it may be an opportunity just for you to reach out and try to touch your neighbors. Just touch your neighbors. Let them know that you sell real estate. Let them know that you live right next to them. So yeah, absolutely. I can throw something together. I'm going to be working on it today and tomorrow. And if Jen comes in, I may leverage her a little bit and have her help me out as well.
Fantastic. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? None? Okay, if there's no other questions, thank you all very much. I appreciate it. I was trying to make this a little bit quick because I need to run Caravan after I print off this current listing and coming soon stuff for all the agents there. Thank you much. Appreciate y'all, and I will talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.